My brothers and sisters, what is going on, everybody? This is Steel Sermon in the house Thursday morning with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. Link is in the description box below. Yeah, I'm officially saying it. In my opinion, Mike Sullivan needs to be on the hot seat. He needs to start being questioned. He needs to start being truly evaluated by this league. And honestly, Pens fans really need to take a hard look at this guy. And I'm starting to say it. Now, I've emphasized before in the past that I've kept on giving Sully credit. And that he's, in my opinion, the best coach that this franchise has ever had. But it's just kind of starting to seem like he's overstayed his welcome. You know, and more specifically with the Jeff Carter, Brian Dumoulin fiasco that we've had over the course of a while now, it just kind of seems that's what Sully is in a nutshell. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has a great drive to win. He has a great attitude when it comes to winning, and I respect and I admire that he does not like losing. But the problem with him just kind of seems like he's kind of stuck between what the Pens were able to achieve in the past versus what this team is right now. And like I said, the Jeff Carter, Brian Dumoulin mess, that's the main catalyst of this. And I listened to his press conference after, I think it was Saturday night's loss to the Rangers. And he kind of gave some kind of passive-aggressive answers when reporters were asking him about why in particular that he kept on putting these guys out for long periods of time on the ice. And, you know, he kind of justified it by saying that, well, we like them, you know, I like them based on the experience. You know, they do face-offs well. You know, they can still provide leadership. You know, so to answer your question completely, I'm not going to give a full report of it or something along those lines. You see, that to me right there just kind of shows Sully's overstayed his welcome. Okay? It's all Sully's doing. Because we know Jeff Carter's old. We know Brian Dumoulin, you know, is more of a liability to the defense now more than an asset. But we can't fully blame the player on that count right there. That's the coach's job to know that. And again, it's all on Sully. He is the one going out there or on the bench justifying playing these guys based on pretty much insignificant attributes at this point, like face-offs, like speed and like the speed they have with skating, the experience, their age. And it just seems like he's not really giving in on this, and it's becoming a regular thing where it's doing more harm to the Pens than good. He's staying loyal. And as I've always said, in my opinion, loyalty is one of the worst qualities to have when you're a head coach or a GM. You can't stay loyal to these guys forever just because of what they did in the past. We know that Jeff Carter was a really good player when he was younger. We know Brian Dumoulin used to be a really good defensive player for us. But like that, you know, like Sully, they've overstayed their welcome and they just don't really help us anymore. So why they continue to get more playing time over the younger guys that we have on this team, it just doesn't click. And he's transformed into a guy that I, quite frankly, don't even recognize anymore. This is not the same Mike Sullivan who had that competitive drive back when we won those back-to-back cups. This isn't even the same Mike Sullivan from 2019 and 2020 even. I just see a guy on the sideline wearing a suit who just feels like, yeah, it's still 2017. Yes, this is still a back-to-back Stanley Cup team. Well, Mike, this is not a Stanley Cup team. Okay? And I know that we beat the Colorado Avalanche last night, and we somehow swept the season series against them too. I mean, go figure. We're combined 5-0 against the two teams that were in the Stanley Cup last year. But yet somehow we can't beat teams like Montreal. We can't beat a team like Ottawa. We can barely beat a team like Buffalo. We can barely beat a team like Columbus. And I say barely with Columbus because we know that god-awful first frame that we had against the Blue Jackets not too long ago. We were down 4-0. This is just not the same Mike Sullivan that I'm accustomed to. And I'm not ready to say that he needs to be fired. I'm not ready to say that. But he does need to be on the hot seat because, in my opinion, yes, he has overstayed his welcome in the NHL. So, unless that he does a complete 180, and unless that he starts realizing that, you know what, scratch that. As a matter of fact, I think the Pens missing the playoffs this year would kind of be the best thing to happen to Mike Sullivan. Because that would send a message to him like, you know what? Changes need to be made. You know, we have too many old players on this team. And I know that that really isn't Mike Sullivan's fault because we're in a cap issue. But maybe, just maybe, if the Pens were to miss the playoffs this year. And we're back as the second wild card, so yeah. But if the Pens were to miss the playoffs, I think that would send a message to Sully saying, I need to change my approach. I need to give these younger guys more time. You know? Sidney Crosby, great. Evgeny Malkin, great. Letang, to an extent. But it can't just be the old guys out on the ice every single time. You need to put the younger guys in, and you can't stop deflecting your own faults because you see insignificant attributes in these guys. And that's my thought on Mike Sullivan. That's why the Pens have not won a playoff series in 5 years. And there's a pretty good chance it's going to be 6. Changes need to be made, Sully. Please do it. But anyway, that's all I got in this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This is Steel Sermon checking on out for the day. May God be with you all.